These are the three mobile apps you are going to build in this React Native and Expo course. Today, we are not only going to learn what React Native is and how it works behind the scenes, but also why it's become one of the most popular frameworks for mobile app development. I'll give you a deep crash course so you understand the core concepts before we start building. We'll break down all the core concepts including routing, navigation, native tabs, React Native components, native wind, TypeScript, running apps with Expo Go, and creating Android and iOS builds. And here where it gets exciting, we are not stopping at theory. Together we'll build not one, not two, but three real-world React Native app from scratch. A e-commerce app where you learn how to use Redux inside React Native, work with Native Wind, and many other practical concepts. And Clean Notes app where users can create notes, mark them as completed, search, filter by category, and delete notes. And finally, a clean and simple movie app will build a modern UI using Native Wind, fetch data from external APIs, and more. By the end of this course, you won't just understand React Native, you'll have hands-on experience building complete applications and a solid portfolio of projects that you can showcase on your resume. So whether you are a complete beginner or a developer looking to add mobile development to your skill set, this course will help you turn your knowledge into real-world experience. Also, if you are finding the video helpful, please consider subscribing. More than 90% of viewers have not subscribed yet, and your support really motivates me to keep creating more quality content. Let's dive in. What is React Native? React Native is a framework that allows us to build native mobile applications using JavaScript and React. Instead of maintaining separate codebase for iOS and Android, we can write most of our code once and run it on both platforms. Before React Native, if you wanted to build an app for both iOS and Android, you had to learn different programming languages for each platform. For iOS, developers used Swift or Objective-C and needed a macOS machine to build and publish apps. For Android, developers used Kotlin or Java. This meant maintaining two separate code bases, which increased development time, cost, and effort. React Native was created to solve this problem by allowing developers to build apps for both iOS and Android using a single JavaScript codebase while still providing a native experience. Why learn React Native? React Native is one of the most popular frameworks for mobile development. It lets us build apps faster, reuse code across platforms, and leverage existing React knowledge. It's widely used by startups and large companies. React Native is not just for small projects. It's used by companies like Instagram, Shopify, Discord, Coinbase, and many others to build production applications serving millions of users. If you have used React before, React Native will feel very familiar. The biggest difference is that instead of HTML elements like div and button, we use native components such as view, text, image, and pressable. You can see the comparison between web apps and mobile apps. Now let's see how React Native works. We write JavaScript and React code, and React Native translates that into native components for iOS and Android. That's why React Native apps look and feel like React Native applications. Now let's see the difference between Expo and React Native CLI. There are two main ways to create React Native applications, Expo and React Native CLI. Expo provides an easier setup and a better developer experience, which is why we'll use Expo throughout this course. In the later part of the course, we will more deep dive into Expo and React Native CLI. To create our React Native project, we are going to use Expo framework. Expo is a full-stack React Native framework with powerful features such as camera, push notifications, deep links, and much more. Expo is used by thousands of enterprises and startups. To get started, simply go to expo.dev and click Read the Docs button. Expo provides amazing docs to get started. You can go through these docs such as Expo skills, the tools, deployment, monitoring, and much more. For now, I am going to copy this command and I will go to VS Code. For this course, I will be using VS Code. To download, simply search on the Google VS Code download for macOS or Windows. Here in VS Code, I have already created this Frontend Lab React Native course directory, and in this directory, I am going to open this terminal and I will run this command. This command will create a template Expo project using the latest Expo version. So let's run this command. First, it will ask us to select an Expo XDK version. So I will use the latest version, which is Expo 56 or HDK 56, recommended for most projects. I will click enter, and now it will install all the dependencies and it will create the template project. The installation is completed and our project is ready. So before we run this project, first let's understand all of this folder structure. So when you create an Expo project, Expo automatically gives you a basic folder structure. At first it may look confusing, but each folder has a specific purpose. First we have this .cloud folder which have some settings related to cloud. For now you can skip this folder, it is not related to React Native. Then we have this .vs code folder. So this is a specific settings for the editor, like it have extensions settings, which is extensions.json, and some settings related to VS Code. Then here we have this assets folder. So this is an important folder for us to store all the assets which we are going to use in our app. It stores static files used in the app. Then we have this expo.icon folder. So this is automatically generated by Expo and it usually contains the app icons. And if you want, you can also have the splash assets here. Like here we have this Expo symbol and this grid image. Then we have this node modules folder. So this node modules contains all the code of the installed packages. So if you go to package.json, so here all these dependencies we are using in our project. So all these dependencies code is stored inside the node modules. Then we have this scripts folder. Inside this scripts folder we can put all our scripts. So currently the Expo have created this reset project script which we are going to use later to reset our project so that we can start from scratch. If you want, you can also store or put your scripts inside this folder. Then before jumping to source folder, let me walk you through to the remaining folders. After source we have this git ignore folder. So this is usually tells the git which files or folders should not be pushed to GitHub. Example, the node modules folder. So this node modules will never push to GitHub. Then the Expo, web build, and some native folders. If you don't want to push any folders to GitHub, you can put the folder name here and Git will ignore that folder. Then we have this app.json. So this is the main Expo configuration file. It is used for the app name. So here you can define your app name with the slug. Then it is used for splash screen as well. After the app name, you can also put the app version. Generally, this is a patch version, this is the minor version, and this is the major version. Sorry, my bad. So when you deploy your app with the new version, you update the app version here. Then we have some configuration orientation, means portrait. So our app only supported portrait version. Then you can put your app icon, user interface style, and if you want, you can also put icon for iOS and Android. For iOS, you can put this icon, and for Android, we have this adaptive icon. with specific background color, foreground image, background image and monochrome image. Then let's go to the package.json. So this is the important file which is used to track all the packages. So currently all of these dependencies is installed on our app, and this is the dev dependency which is not pushed to production, and some scripts. And this is the package log.json. So this means whatever package you have installed, this package log file logs the version which is installed, so that if you work on a team, every team member will install the same package version instead of different. Here we have this license, so it usually defines the project license like MIT license. It is useful for open source projects. Then we have this readme.md file. So here we usually write our project documentations like project setup steps, commands and project information, which is displayed automatically on GitHub. And finally we have this tsconfig.json file. So this is the TypeScript configuration file. It controls all the TypeScript rules, aliases and compiler behavior. So I hope you have understood this folder structure. Now let's go to the source. So inside source, all our main code exists. First, let's go to this app folder. So what is this app folder? If you have worked with Next.js project, then you are already familiar to this app. So similarly in Next.js, if you create any file inside app, it automatically becomes the route. And the same rule applies here as well. If you create any file, it automatically becomes the page or screen, or you can also say route. Here the explore.tsx file exists, so it automatically becomes the explore screen. This index.ts becomes home screen, and this layout controls the navigation layouts of screens. It is used for stack navigation, tabs and shared headers. When we will learn all of these things, you will get to know what I am talking about. So think of it like as a main layout wrapper for screens. We can also create a UI here which will be shared across the screens. So I hope you have understood this app folder. And then we have some components folder. We can put all these shared components here. Then we have the constants folder. We can put the constants which can be used in our entire app. And if we create any hooks like use auth for user login, and we can put that hook here and we can use that hook in our app. We have this global.css file. Here we can write our CSS using class names and IDs, and we can put that class names in our element. So I hope you have understood all of this folder structure in React Native. Now let's see how we can run this project. To run the project, I will open the terminal, and if you go to the package.json, inside package.json we have the scripts. For iOS you can use this script, for web you can use this script, and similarly for Android we can use this script. So before running the project, you need Xcode for macOS and Android Studio for Windows. I know this might feel an extra requirement to just run the app, but this is how React Native app development works if you want to build mobile applications. So to download the Xcode, simply go to this link. I will provide this link in the description below, so you can follow this documentation, and trust me, you can easily download Xcode and simulators. So you need to install the Xcode IDE and the simulators to run our app. And similarly for Android, you need to install the Android Studio emulator. So I will provide this link as well in the description, and simply go through this documentation and you can easily download Android Studio and the emulator. I have already installed Xcode and simulator, so I will run this script npm run iOS, and it will take some time, and it will open the simulator and it will run this application. So this is opening this project or app on the iPhone 17. You can see it is installing the Expo Go on iPhone 17. So what is this Expo Go? So Expo Go is an app provided by the Expo team. Generally, Expo Go is a learning environment and sandbox for getting started. So using Expo Go app, we can learn React Native and Expo features. Let's go back to the VS Code, and yeah, here you can see our app is opened on this Expo Go app. So I will close this terminal. This is the template project we have for the Expo. To get started, we can edit this index.tsx file, and if you press Command D, so it will open the dev tools. So this is the dev tools for our app. If you want to reload the app, you can click here. It will reload the entire app. If your changes is not visible, you can try reloading it. Then you can check the source code explorer, toggle performance monitor, toggle element inspector, and dev tools. And currently the fast refresh is also on. So if you want, you can also off this. First, we are going to focus on the basics. So I will close this and I will open the terminal. I will open new terminal and I will run this script npm run reset project, and I will say no and click enter. So you can see as soon as I run this command, our app is closed. So to run again I will kill this terminal and I will say npm run iOS. And here we have this Expo Go app, and inside Expo Go our application will open. Yeah, here we have this line edit index.tsx to edit this screen. So let's go to index.tsx. I will remove this text and I will say hello world. And as soon as I pressed Command S to save this file, the changes is automatically visible here. We don't have to refresh the page. Now let's understand this component. So here we have this function and it returns this some kind of syntax. So what is this syntax? Remember, this is not a HTML or JSX like we used to have in Next.js or React. This is the core React Native components. First, this is the view component coming from React Native, which is similar to a div. To learn the view component, here I will write one render function, render view, and this will return this line of code. So I will copy and paste it here and I will call view component, sorry, not view component, this render function here. So what is this view component? So I will write the comment here as view. So view component is the most fundamental component in React Native. You can think of it like a div in HTML or React. So what is the div? So div is actually a container that holds other components, and same goes with the view component. We can use view mainly for layout, positioning, grouping the elements, and we can also give flexbox positioning and so on. This view component is coming from React Native as it is a React Native component. And then here comes the styling part. In React Native, we can give styles like this. We create style sheet. So what is this style sheet? Style sheet comes from the React Native, and using style sheet, we can create bunch of classes which will be used inside the components. Here we have this container class. This container class first have this flex1, align item center, and justify content center. Let's say I will give background color to red, and if I save this file, you can see here we have this red background color. And if you want, you can also change it to, let's say, yellow. Yeah, if you want, you can also give some style to this text component as well. You can define this style directly here as well. Let's say I will give the color white. Now the text is invisible because the background color is also similar to white. So what I will do, I will give background color to this text as red, And don't worry about the text component for now. We will learn what is text component. First let's give some CSS. I will give padding 16 pixel, border radius to 16 as well, font weight bold, and font size let's say 16. We have this text component which is currently looking like a button, and we have defined all the styles here. If you want, you can remove this style or you can copy this style. So I will copy this style and you can create one class here. Let's say text or custom text, and I will give all the class here, and then we can simply remove these classes from here. I will say styles dot, and it automatically auto suggest the class name. So I will give the custom text. So like this you can put all your styles inside style sheet and you can use the styles here. Now let's see what is the text component. Again I will write render text. It will return one text component, and let's say hello expo. I will write hello expo, and let's call this render text here instead of view. I will write the comment text. Now what is this text component? Text component comes from React Native, and in React Native every piece of text must be wrapped inside the text component. For example, you can't write text inside view. Let's say if you take one view here and if you write like this hello world, this will give error. If you check the error, it says text strings must be rendered within a text component. In React Native you can't write text inside a view. Every text must be inside a text component, because in React Native all these components converts to native code. For iOS it will be converted to the Swift code, and in Android it may be converted to Kotlin code. So all this text must be wrapped inside the text component. So I will wrap this text component, yeah, like this. And now we have the hello world here, and if you want you can give the style. So we have already created the styles, our custom text. Yeah, it is looking something like this. Don't worry about the design, this is just for the learning purpose. So I hope you have understood this text component. The next component we are going to learn is the image component. So I will say render image, and I will return one image. Again image comes from React Native, and I will call this render image here. So this is the image component, which is very much similar to Next.js image component. As you know, image requires source. So in React Native it is not like this src, it is source, and inside source we need to give the URI. And for now I will use this image, pixum image, pixum.photos /200. If I save the file, the image is not coming here because every image should have width and height. So I will give 300 pixel width and 300 pixel height. Now you can see we have this image here in React Native, and we can also give some more styles as well. You can also give the alt. So I will give as image, or let's say computer image, and I will give some style to this image as well. Let's give border radius 12. Now here we have some border radius, and I will give margin to 16 pixel. Yeah, this image component comes from the React Native, and generally you use image component to display the local image or online images. So currently we are using this online image, but if you want to display the local image like we have in the assets, what we can do, I will remove this link and I will go to assets, images. This tutorial web image is not visible here because we have done one mistake. So I will comment this line and will write source again. To use the local image, we need to use require syntax, require, and then we can go to assets, images, and I will copy this tutorial web.png image. Now the image is visible, so it is a big image. Let's check it out, another image. Let's use this icon.png. It is also big image. So what we can do, we can reduce the width and the height. Let's put it 10. The image is big, so what I will do, I will use this Expo logo, and let's give width and height as 10. But yeah, the image size is this much big. So you can see here we have this Expo logo icon. So I hope you have understood how to give online images and how to give our local assets images using require syntax and URI. Let's move forward, and the next component we are going to learn is the text input. So again I will write one render text, and I will return text input from React Native, and let's give placeholder as enter your email, and first let's call this function here. If you check it out, here we have lightish color gray. In gray, enter your email, and I can type anything here. Like I can type the email ID like teamfrontendlab@gmail.com. Yeah. So this text input component comes from the React Native, and it is used whenever you need user input, like in the login forms or search bars. And this text input usually works with the use state as well. For example, I can create one state here. Let's say user input, set user input from use state, and then I can pass value as user input. Then I can pass on change text. So this is the on change text method which will be called whenever user types anything, and I can pass this set user input here. Now whatever user types here, we will store that type value inside user input, and then we can pass this user input to our API for login or for any other purpose. So I hope you have understood this text input component. You can give placeholder, you can give value, and on change text. If you want, you can also give style to text input. Let's give some style. I will give border width 1. So here we have this border. Let's give margin as 16 pixel. Yeah, and let's give padding to 16 as well. Now the next component we are going to learn is the pressable. Let's write first render function, render pressable. Let's call this here. Yeah. Now this render will return pressable component which comes from React Native. So what is this pressable component? So this is simply a button component used to make elements clickable. It has on press, and on press we will show this alert and we will say button pressed. Then we can give text. So to give the text, let's wrap this pressable like this, and inside pressable let's take one text and I will say press. Yeah, and as soon as I click on the press, you can see it populates this alert and it says button pressed. So using alert component, you can alert the user. You can also give style to this pressable. So let's give some style to this pressable as well. I will give background color to black. The text is not visible, so let's give the text color here, not class name, it is style, and I will say color white. Now the press text is visible. Let's give some padding as 15, border radius as 8, and let's give margin as 24 pixel. Yeah, if you want you can also make this button as flex. So I will say display flex, align items in center and justify in center. Yeah, now the text component is in center, and if you want you can give the width. Let's give the width as 200 pixel or 150. Yeah, now it is looking good, and if I press it populates this alert. So you can use this pressable component when you want to make the elements clickable. Now let's move forward. The next component is the button component. Similarly to pressable, we also have the button component. Render button, and it will return button from React Native. Let's call this function first here, and this button component take the text, sorry, not the text, title, and I will say login. And as soon as I save, so here we have this login button. But nowadays most developers use this pressable instead of this native button component, and it also have this on press similar to this one. I will copy this on press, I will pass here. Yeah, and now if I click here, it opens this alert. After this button, I want to show you another component, which is the activity indicator. And this will return, as the name suggests, activity indicator from React Native. I will call this here, and as soon as I save this file, you can see here we have this activity indicator which is in loading state. You can also give size, so I will give the size as large. Here we have this activity indicator, so you can use this activity indicator to show the loading state, loading indicator when you are fetching API data, or suppose you are uploading the files, or user is logging in, and so on. So this is the useful component when we want to show the loading state to the user if something asynchronous task is happening which requires little bit of time. After this activity indicator, we also have the switch component. So I will say render switch. I will return this switch, will come from React Native. Let's call this method here. The switch component takes the value. If I set the value to true, the switch is on. If I set it to false, the switch is off, and it takes the on value change. So what you can do, you can create one state here. Let's say is enabled, set is enabled, and initially the value will be false, and you can pass the dynamic value here, and on value change you can pass set is enabled. So if I click here, it set the is enabled to true, and if I click again, it sets the is enabled to false. So you can track the state of the switch. And don't worry about the theory. If you download the final code from the description below, for every component I will give you the description of what does this component do and when to use. After the switch component, we have another component which is link. First I will write the render for this. Now what is this link component? So link comes from Expo router. Remember, this is coming from Expo router. It is not something that comes from React Native. This link component takes the href. So I will remove this, and let's add the text here, and let's say go to profile. Inside href we have to give the route. So if you check it out, we don't have any routes here or screens. So what we can do, I will create one file, profile.tsx, and let's create the profile screen here. So this will be a profile screen. Let's use the view. Inside view I will take one text. I will say profile screen, and let's export this profile screen. Export default profile screen. Now we can use this profile screen here. I can pass this profile and check it out. If I click go to profile, it redirects me to this profile screen, and we have this navbar with the profile and index.ts, which is the back button from where we came. And if I click here, it redirects me to the home screen. So this is useful component when we need navigation. It helps us move the user from one screen to another screen. Now I will close this file. I will go to this layout file. Now let's talk about this layout file. So this is the stack. So what is this stack? So if you check it out, all the screen is like a stack. And remember, this stack is coming from Expo router. It is not something which is coming from React Native. Initially on top of the stack we have this home screen, and if I click go to profile, it replaces this home screen, and this profile screen is pushed on top of home screen. And if I come back, it pops the current screen and it comes back to this home screen. Now the top element of this stack is this home screen. So it is used for navigation. Now if you want to hide this navbar, what you can do, you can pass the screen options. So here I will say header shown to false. Now you can see we don't have the header here, but the problem is we are not able to see our text component. It goes to the notch. Now this is the common problem which developer faces. For this we have safe area view. Let's go to index file, and here what I will do, I will wrap this render link inside a safe area view. And as soon as I save this file, you can see this go to profile is visible here. What is this safe area view? So this safe area view comes from React Native safe area context package. What it does, it is a third-party library, and it prevents all the contents which goes to the notch or the status bar. So all the content will be visible inside the screen. It will not push to the notch or the status bar, which makes the content invisible. What you can do, you can keep every screen inside a safe area view. If you want, you can also explore some more options as well, like blur effect, visible. You can give the back title style. You can give the back title like custom back title, custom back icon, background, and you have bunch of other stuff as well. So you can explore this. For now I will set the header shown to false, and if I go to the profile screen again, I will go to the profile screen and I will put here safe area view. We'll wrap this view inside safe area view. Now the profile screen text is visible on this screen. The next component we are going to learn is the flat list. Flat list. First I will write the render function for flat list. Let's call this function here instead of render link, and this flat list will return one flat list which will come from React Native. So what is this flat list? If you have worked in React or Next.js, to render the list of item we use map. For example, suppose we have array of users, so we will say users.map. We will get each user here, and we simply return one span tag, let's say, and here we display the user.name, and we are mapping through the user, so we need to pass user.id as well. Same thing we can do here as well. Suppose we have bunch of users, so we can map, we can use this JavaScript map function, and we can return text instead of this span, and it will work as it works in Next.js or React. In React Native, we also have this flat list. So when to use map and when to use flat list. So you can use map when your data is not big, let's say maximum 4 or 5 items. This will not be the case every time. The data will grow as your applications grow. So flat list is the professional way to render large lists efficiently. So what flat list does is, instead of rendering everything at once, it only renders visible items, which improves performance. So what I mean by that is, here in map, all the user will render at once. But if you display the user's name using flat list, so all the user will not be rendered everything at once. It only renders the visible items, and as when user scrolls, it will display more items. So I hope you have understood the difference between map and flat list. Now, how to render list of users. In flat list, we need to pass the data. In data, I will take one array and I will write React, Next.js and React Native. After passing data, then to render each item, we have this render item function. Here in render item, we will receive each item here and I will return one text and let's display the item. Here we have the typo, we need to close the bracket here and remove this. Let's give some style first. I will give margin to 20 pixel. Yes, now you can see here we have this React Next.js and React Native. Let's increase the font size to 24 pixel. Sorry, my bad, 24. Yeah, now it is visible clearly. So we are rendering this list using flat list. If you want, you can replace this data with the API data. Also, I forgot to mention one thing. When you run your app, let's run the app again. npm run iOS. So when you run your app, you will see this QR code. So the app opened in iPhone 17, and if you want, you can also scan this QR code in your mobile and you can open this app in your device. So if you go to Expo Go app, so you can download this Expo Go app in iOS and Android. After downloaded, you just need to scan this QR code and your application will open in the Expo Go app. So make sure to try this. Now I will close this terminal. So I hope you have understood all of these components which we have learned here, from link, switch, activity, button, pressable, and so on. All these components will be handy and we will build our real projects in the coming section. Also, if you want to change the simulator, you can press Shift I and from here you can select the simulator. Currently we are running this application on iPhone 17. If you want, you can run on iPad, iPhone 17 Pro, Pro Max, 17e, Air. You can choose any simulator and you can run your application. Now the next component we are going to learn is the scroll view. Before learning scroll view, in flat list, let's say I will add more data. Yeah. And now if you notice, if I try to scroll, this flat list is scrolled automatically. But let's say on some places you are not using flat list. Let's say you are rendering one card here, then you are rendering something here and so on. So you are not using flat list. Let's say you have 4 or 5 components and it needs scroll view. So what I will do, I will remove this. I will write one method here, render scroll view, and I will say return. For now I will just write one dot map and I will return the item in this text item and I will call the scroll view here. Then in the source I will create one constants file, and here I will create some dummy data. I am going to just copy and paste this. Let's wrap this text inside view. Then I will give some margin top in the style margin top to 16 pixel. Yeah. Now if you notice, let's say I will give margin top as 24 pixel, but we are not able to see the below items. First let's give some padding. Let's give 16 pixel padding. Yeah. Now if you notice, if I try to scroll or try to see the below items, I am not able to see the items below this Next.js. So to solve this issue, we have scroll view from React Native, and we just need to wrap this view inside scroll view. Now if I try to scroll, so only the single item is scrolling because we have wrapped every view inside a scroll view. We need to wrap the data inside the scroll view. My bad. So here I will take scroll view. Let's put the scroll view here. And this is a JavaScript, so we need to wrap this inside curly braces. Yeah, I will remove this. We can skip this error because already we are rendering this item inside the text. So I will dismiss this. Yeah. And now notice here, if I try to scroll now, we can see all the items from top to bottom. So this is the use case of scroll view. Whenever you need to allow the user to scroll to see the below items, you can wrap your data or any components inside this scroll view. And I think we have this semicolon here, that's why we were getting that error. Yeah, now the error will not occur. So this is how you can use scroll view in React Native. Now the next component we are going to learn is the tab. In the latest iOS version, you noticed all the UI is changed. Now we have the glass morphism UI, in which everything have the glass effect. We are going to learn the native tabs. So let's get started. So for that I will close all of this file and let's jump to layout file. Here in this layout file, instead of stack which comes from the Expo router, we are going to use native tabs. Native tabs is provided by the Expo router itself. First I will remove this stack and I will call native tabs. Native tabs is coming from the Expo router native tabs. Inside native tabs we need to have the trigger. So I will take native tabs dot trigger, and here for now I will use the label from Expo router and let's give home. If you check, nothing is visible on this screen because if you use native tabs, you need to provide the name for each trigger. For this home, we are going to use the home screen, which is the index.ts screen. And now check it out. We have this tab component and the label is home. For each tab, we will have label and icon. Let's use the icon as well. So I will say icon, which will come from Expo router. And we have this SF prop, and here we can pass the default icon. Let's say for now I will pass this icon, and we can also pass, if the tab is selected, then we will change the icon. So for that I will say chart.bar.fill. Yeah, now the current tab is selected, that's why we are getting this fill icon. If it is not selected, we will have the normal icon. So this is how native tabs work. Just you need to use the native tabs from the Expo router native tabs, and you can take as many trigger you want. So I will copy this and let's say I will create one more trigger. I will change the label. Then here we need to pass the screen. So already we have this profile screen. So just pass this one and your profile screen tab is ready. Check it out. If I click profile, it says profile screen. If I click home, then we have our list. For each native trigger, you need to pass the label, which will be the tab name, and the icon. You need to pass the default icon and the selected icon. For profile screen, I will use this icon person dot circle, and I will say person dot circle dot fill. Now if I click here, we have this fill person icon, and if I click here, we have this normal person circle icon. Now if you are wondering how we can change this color, so you can also change this native tab color. For that we have this tint color, and you can pass any color here. Let's say I will pass red color. Now the tab changes to red color. If I go here, then we have this nice looking red color, and you can give any color here. For now I will remove this tint color, and let's take one more tabs. So again I will create one more trigger, native tabs dot trigger. First I will pass the label, let's say settings, and then we will have the icon. Let's use the settings icon. For default I will say gear shape, so this will be the icon, and for selected let's give this gear shape fill icon, and here I will pass the settings. Now the tab is not visible because settings screen does not exist in our code. I will create one more screen, settings. Now let's create the settings screen. So this will be a simple arrow function which will return one text saying settings screen. Settings screen. Let's add the greeting message as welcome to settings screen. Let's export this settings screen. Now check it out. If I go to settings, we are getting this message, but it is coming above the notch, above the status bar. So you know how to fix this. Just we need to wrap this inside a safe area view. We'll wrap this inside a safe area view. Let's remove this text. Yeah, now we have this greeting message, welcome to settings screen. Then we have profile and stats. So this is how you can work with tabs, and you can create as many trigger as you want. So I hope you have understood all of the core React Native components, and this is the fundamentals we need to build before we start our first real world app. Now in the upcoming section, we are going to build 3 real world apps. So I hope now your fundamentals is clear, and now we are ready to build our 3 real world apps. So in the coming section, we are going to build 3 real world apps. So I will meet you in the next lesson. In this lecture, we are going to build our first mobile app, which will work on both iOS and Android. We'll build this simple notes app and we'll call this quick note. We are going to use all the knowledge which we have learned in the course to build this app. First, let's check the demo of the app. When we open the app, we will land on the home screen. So this is the home screen, and I have added some sample notes. Here we have this search bar which says search your thoughts. Then we have some categories: work, ideas, personal and urgent. Then we have list of to do. Each notes have the category, title, description, date, and then here we have this circle radius. If I click this, it will have the checkbox here, which means this notes or this to do is completed. And also we have this delete icon. First let's check this search. So let's say if I search book, so we have this notes. If I search round, so now we have these notes. If I remove the search, then we have all the list of notes. And let's say if I search anything, then it says no notes yet, tap plus to capture your first thought. So if we don't find any result, then we will show this message to the user. You can also filter the notes by category. Let's say I want to only see the notes which have the work category. Just click on this category and the notes will be filtered on this category, and it will show all the notes which is related to the work category. Same goes with the ideas, personal and urgent. And if you want to see all the nodes, then simply click the category again and it will show all the related nodes. And let's say if I filter these nodes by personal category, and now if I search, let's say if I search round, then the round nodes will not come because we search only the available nodes. So currently we have this book dentist appointment nodes, so the search will only show the available nodes. If I search book, then these nodes will be available, and if I search anything like books, then the nodes will not appear because in personal we don't have that nodes. And if you want to see all the nodes, simply click the category again. For each nodes you can check this checkbox and it will have this nice looking checkbox which shows that this to do is done. And you can also delete this note as well. Let's say I want to delete this book dentist appointment. So I will simply click this delete button and it will remove the notes from here. Now let's say you want to add one note. Simply click this plus button. Let's give title as buy groceries. Let's give here thoughts as milk and bread. Then we need to pass the date. So I will pass the current date. And then I will select the category work and I will say add note. As soon as I click add note, it says success, notes added successfully, and if I click done button, it redirects me to the home page and you will have your note here. So this is the simple notes app we are going to build in this lecture. To get started, again just go to the Expo docs and copy this command to initialize the Expo project. So I will open one terminal and here I have created the directory as quick note and I will initialize the Expo project in this directory. Again we'll use the latest SDK version and it will initialize our project. Our project is ready and now you can run this command npm run iOS and it will open our app inside Expo Go as we have seen this in the course. So if I go to package.json, so as we run this script, it will start the iOS version in the simulator. Before we move forward, let's see how we can create iOS build or Android. So what this means is, in the course we have learned React Native using Expo Go app. Our app runs in the Expo Go. But if you notice, here I have this app saying Notes app which I have created previously, and this is the separate app which is not running inside the Expo Go app. This is a separate build. Expo Go is like a playground where we can experiment things, learn React Native. In Expo Go, our app is a pre-built app. What happens in React Native is it converts our code to Swift code and Kotlin code to work on iOS and Android devices. To do this, we need to create the iOS build. If you go to app.json, and here we have the app name as quick note, and here we can place the icon, splash screen and so on. But if you use the Expo Go app, you can't change your app icon because our app runs inside the Expo Go app itself. So it is not possible to change the splash screen, app name or icon. So to build our version of the app and to work with, we need to create our iOS build. To create the iOS build, simply run this command npx expo run iOS. Simply run this command and it will create the iOS build. If you see in the folder structure, this is the iOS folder is created. So currently it is installing the Cocoa Pods, which is the dependency. Now here it is asking port 8081 is reserved because I am running another app on this port. So I will use 8082 port. So simply press Y if you are running another app in the 8081 port. And now it is planning the build and it depends on your internet connection. It will take few minutes to create the complete build. So I hope you have understood why we are creating another build for this app and not using the Expo Go. If you have any doubts regarding this, simply comments below and I'm happy to help you. Just like the iOS build, you can also create Android build by simply running npm expo run and colon and Android. And as I previously mentioned, you can download the Expo Go app on your phone as well to test out things, to experiment out things and to learn React Native. And if you want to learn more about the development build, simply go to expo.dev/go and here you can refer this guide. So it says Expo Go versus development builds, which should you use? You can go through these articles and you will get more clarity when to use development build and when to use the Expo Go. So make sure to go through this article to learn more. And if you already build your application in Expo Go, you can refer this doc, migrate from Expo Go to development build if you want to migrate your Expo Go app to your development build. So you can refer this article if you want to migrate your app to development build. Also in the course, we learn how to use style sheet to style our app, but there is also another option which we can use to give styles in our app, and this is called native wind. Simply search native wind and go to this documentation. So it says style your React Native apps using Tailwind CSS. Style sheet is great for giving styles to our app, but we can use Tailwind CSS as well. If you have used Tailwind CSS in Next.js or React, then it is simply the same. If you check the documentation, you have to just use the Tailwind CSS class name like text 4XL, text center, font bold, and here is the magic. You can also give styles to iOS and Android differently. Let's say if you have splash screen and you have to give another style for iOS version and another style for Android version. So that is also taken care here. To create our three apps, we are going to use native wind instead of style sheet. To get started, simply click get started here. You will land to this documentation nativewind.dev/docs and we are going to use the latest version. I will click here view version 5 docs and we will use the latest version of native wind. So scroll below. If you want, you can also read more here what is native wind. So it simply allows you Tailwind CSS to style your components in React Native. Styled components can be shared between all React Native platforms. So make sure to read this if you want to learn more about the native wind. And I will go to the installation here, click this installation and we will refer this doc to install native wind in our app. Now our app is running in this simulator iPhone 17 and if you go to the home screen, so here we have the build for our app which calls quick note. If you want to change the app name, now you can change your app name and icon as well. Let's open our app and the first thing I'm going to do, I will reset the project. I will say npm run reset project. I will say no. Let's open the app. Our project is reset and if you check it out, the index file, we have this default template to edit the app. If you change anything here, let's say I will say hello world, the changes reflects here. Before we start building our app, as you know, we have to install native wind. So we are going to use Expo. I will copy this command, open the terminal, new terminal, and simply run this command. And before executing this command, I will kill this terminal and execute this command. Let's check it out, different command. So what this command does, it install native wind and its peer dependency like Tailwind CSS, React Native CSS and some other stuff as well. And it also installs this React Native safe area context as well. Now we need to install the Tailwind CSS and Post CSS. So let's set up the Tailwind CSS. So I will copy this command and I will run this command here to install Tailwind CSS and Post CSS. After this, we need to add Tailwind CSS to our Post CSS configuration. So we need to create this file and add this code in this file. Here I will create the file Post CSS. Let's check it out. Suffix, yeah, post css.config.mjs. I will rename this .config.mjs. Let's copy the code and put it here. Now let's check the next step. Now we need to create this global.css and add this Tailwind directives. So again I will go to global.css. Yeah, it does not exist. So we need to create one global.css. I will create here and put these Tailwind directives. Now let's check it out. Next step, we need to create this metro config file. So it says create or modify metro config.js. So run this command or create file if you don't already have, and we need to wrap this config with native wind. So let's create this file metro config.js and just copy this code and put it here. Now let's see the next step. Now on the fourth step, we need to import our CSS file. So let's go to layout file and I will import here import/global.css. Let's check the next step. We need to add this lighting CSS under the overrides in the package.json. So I will go to package.json and after this script I will put this override, remove this curly braces and save the file. And after this we need to set up the TypeScript. So as you know, we are also, this is the optional step, but we need to do this as well because we are using TypeScript. So just create this file in the root directory. We'll create this file here and copy this command, copy this code and put it here. So we have completed all these steps to install native wind. Now the next thing we need to do, first I will delete this iOS directory because I'm going to build this iOS build again, and I will also say npm install because we have modified package.json. So I will install the package and let's run npm run iOS. So if you check it out, this will create the build. So let's run this command, and now again it will take some few minutes to create the build. So let's wait for some time and then we will test the native wind. The build is created successfully and our app is now running on the simulator. If you are facing any error, so this is because the import of the global.css. So make sure to import global.css like this and just rerun the app again by running the command npm run iOS and it will be fine. Now let's test our native wind. We'll close this file and let's go here index and I will remove these styles. Let's remove this style. I will remove this as well. And let's test this app by giving background color to this hello world. I will say bg red and you can see it already suggesting me all of these colors. So I will give this red background color, and here is the magic. The Tailwind CSS applied to our mobile app. If you have worked with Tailwind CSS in Next.js or React, it is just same. Just we have to utilize all the utility class. Like for this view, I can give flex, item center, justify center, and you can see now the text is in center. And let's say if I give flex 1 to occupy all this space, so now the text is in the center. Now we are ready to build our app. So the first thing I'm going to do, I will remove all of this code and I will say const home screen. So this will be a home screen and it will return one view and one text. Let's give the app name as quick note. Let's import the text. I will press Ctrl space to import the text and export this home screen. Yeah, I will go to layout file, and here in the stack, as you know, we have the screen options, and I will hide header shown to false. We'll remove the header, and as you know, now we have to put the safe area view here so that our text will be visible. So I will take the safe area view and wrap this view inside the safe area view. And let's say I want to give some class name to the safe area view. I will want to give the background color, but you can see as soon as I add the background color is not visible here, because giving styles directly to safe area view does not work. So this is how we'll solve this issue. I will go to this source folder and I will create one components folder, and I will create one component called safe area view, and here I will say export default, and I will use the styled from native wind. So let's import the styled from native wind and I will call safe area view here. So we are wrapping the safe area view inside styled, and we will not directly use the safe area view. Instead of this, we will use our safe area view component. And check it out, if I import the safe area view now from components, and if I give background color, now the background color is applied here because we have wrapped the safe area view inside the styled, which is coming from native wind. Then the next thing we have to create is the input, the search box. I will remove this background color and I will give flex 1, padding 4, and I will use this alabaster background color. So where this color is coming from? So if you check it out, the global.css, under the theme directives, I have defined this two color, governor bay and the alabaster color. So these two color we are going to use in our app. So why I have defined this color here like this? Because instead of using directly the hex code, we will use this class name, which is readable and easy to use. You can find this global.css file in the description below. So make sure to download the resources for this project and just simply drag and drop the global CSS in the root directory. I'll remove this text, and for this view as well, I will give the flex 1. Inside this view, I will take the text input component from React Native, which we have learned in the course, and let's give some class name to this component. I'll make the background color as white, border color as gray 300, height will be 14, rounded full, border radius will be full, some padding, and I will give the width full as well. So here we have our input and we can type anything here. Then let's add the placeholder for this input. I will say search your thoughts. We can also define the placeholder text color. For this, I will use this hex code 393E46. So this is the placeholder text color. Then we need to pass the value and on change text. So as you already know, we'll create one state. Let's call it search text, set search text. Use the use state hook here from React, and we'll pass the value as search text, and here set search text. So the user will type anything here and will store that text inside this use state search text variable. Now after this input, we need to create the UI for category. I will take one scroll view because the category will be scrollable as we add more categories, and the scroll will be in horizontal direction If you don't provide anything here, by default it is vertical, but you can also make it as horizontal as well. Then inside the source folder, I will paste this folder utils. So this utils folder have this constants file, and this is a simple constants file. In this constants file I have defined this category. All of this category are supported here, like work, ideas, personal and urgent. If you want, you can add more categories as well. For now I will keep it this 4 category, and I'll use this category here. I will say category, which is coming from constants file, and here we can use map. We'll receive the item here. For now I will return the pressable, which is coming from React Native. Let's pass the key as item, and inside pressable I will take one text component and I will pass the item. So here you can see we have the category work, ideas, personal and agent. It's not looking good currently. Let's add some classes. Here I will use the style tag to define the design. I will say padding vertical will be 10, padding horizontal, in horizontal wise padding will be 28. Let's give the border radius as full, so I will use this much border radius. And the background color, so the background color will depend if the category is selected or not. So here I will create one variable const is selected, and will say true for now, and I will say if the category is selected then give different background color, else different background color. So I will add this background color here. I will define this hex code, and if the category is not selected we will add simply white color. Let's give border width as well as 1 and border color as well. Let's define the border color as is selected, then we'll give this border color. And for this text I will give the style tag as well. Currently don't worry about this UI, we'll fix this soon. First let's complete this styling part. I will give the color. If the text is selected or the category is selected, I will give the text color as white, else different text color 4B5563, and font size will be 14. To fix this we need to add some styling to scroll view. So I will use the style tag here as well, and I will give mean height to 50, max height to 50 and margin top to 16. And here now we have the category, which is looking better from previous one. First let's hide this scroll view. I will say show horizontal scroll indicator to false. But now this text is not in center, so I will add here, I will add the content container style. So what you can do, you can add the style to your content container as well. So we'll have this props content container style, and if you hover on it you can read here these styles will be applied to the scroll view content container, which wraps all of the child views. And here is the example how it is created. So let's use these props. First I will add the flex direction to row, gap 8, we need the align items in center, and padding horizontal will be 4. Currently it looks like all the categories selected at once. To fix this I will create one more variable, selected category, selected category, set selected category. Initially it will be an empty string, and here instead of is selected true I will say selected category is equals to item. Now you can see all the background color is now white, and if I click anything, nothing happens because we need to add on press here. After this key, I will call on press and I will call one method handle category click and I will pass the item. Let's quickly create this method here. We'll receive the item here or category. Let's define as category, type will be string, and I will say set selected category to this category. Now if I click here, now the background color changes. For example, work, ideas, personal, urgent, because we are passing the selected category here and we are setting the selected category, and then here we are checking if the selected category matches with this item, then we are defining the different color. If the selected category is true, we'll give this color, else this color, and same thing goes for border and text color. After this category, let's render note card. After this scroll view, I will take one flat list. Inside this flat list, as you know, first we need to pass the data. Let's pass the data as first note, second note, yes, and then we need to pass the key extractor as well. So here we will receive the note.id. So what I will do here, I will make this as an object, title will be first note, and I will give the id as 1, and I will make the id type as string instead of number. Then we'll take this render item. Inside this we'll receive the item, and I will call one component note card, and I will pass the note as the item. Soon we are going to create this note card component. First let's move forward. Again I will use this content container style, and just I will give padding bottom as 100, and I will disable the vertical scroll indicator by saying it false. So we are getting this error because note card does not exist. So let's go to components folder, and here I will create one note card component. Let's quickly write the note card, or let's use the shortcut. Yeah, I will import note card here. Let's go to this note card component. Here we will receive the note in the props, and the note type will be iNote. To create this type, here in the source I will create one new folder, types. In this types folder I will create one file app.types.d.ts, and we'll have this iNote type. Let's import this type here. Yeah, so this is a simple type which have id. So every node will have id, title, description, date, category, and is completed. Then let's move forward. Let's create our note card component. I will remove this text, and inside this view I will take one more view, and first let's give some class to this view. I will give the border color as gray 300, margin top 8, rounded 4xl, and padding to 8. Let's give some class to this view as well. Just I will make this as flex row and justify between. Inside this view I will take one text, and here we will show the category in uppercase. Currently we will get this error because in note category does not exist. So what I will do here, after id title, let's define the category as well. Let's give it category as personal, and here let's give the category as work. Yeah, now here we have the category. So after this category also we need to add some css tailwind. I will give the background color as governor base /15, and the text color again will be same, but it is divided by 90, so we will have opacity. Font semi bold, rounded excel, some padding in x-axis and in y-axis. You can see the category here, personal and work. It is looking good. Now after this text, I will check if node.is completed is true. If it is true, then as you know, we need to show the checkbox here. So for this icon, I'm going to install one package, npm install. So we are going to use this expo vector icons package. Let's install this package quickly. Yeah, the package is installed. Now let's try importing that icon. So the icon is icon, and again we need to type the icons. So what I will do, I will import this icon from here. So I have imported the icon from expo vector icons. Now we need to pass the name of the icon. So the icon we are going to use is the check mark, circle, sharp icon. Font size will be 28, and you can also pass the class name here as well. So I will pass the class name as text color to this text color, divide by 60, else null. So here what we are saying, for each node which is completed, return this component, else return null. But we are not going to return null. We will allow the user to mark that node as completed. To do that, we will use pressable. Let's import pressable from React Native, and inside this pressable again we'll use the icon, material icon. This time we are going to use this material icons. So let's import this material icons from vector icons. Let's pass the name. So this will be a delete outline. Sorry, my bad, it is not material icon, it is this one. Let's import this. I will replace this with this icon, and we will use this circle icon. Size will be 24, and again I will pass the text color as gray 400. So you can see now here we have this circle icon which is coming from this pressable, and if user clicks this, then this node will be marked as completed. For now we are not focusing on the functionality, we are first creating the UI. After this, let's show the node title. So after this view, I will take one text. Let's display the node title. Node title. I will add some CSS here as well. Just I will say margin top 6 and text to 2XL. To show the description, I will copy this text. Description. Size will be XL, and let's give the text color as gray 700. Let's add the description here as well. Description. Let's say first node description. For this node I will say second node description. I will take one view. First let's add some tailwind here. We'll say margin top as 8, flex row, justify between. Inside this view I will take one more view, and I will add the class as flex row, gap 2, and inside this view I will use this feather icon. Let's import this icon from vector icons again. So I will just copy and paste it here. The icon we are going to use is the calendar icon. Calendar. Again size will be 16 and text color will be gray 400. Here we have this calendar icon, and we will show the date here. I will use this text component to show the date, node.date, and here I will add some CSS, text gray and font medium. Currently the date will be not be shown because we don't have date here. So let's quickly add the date like this, and here I will add date as 24. So here we have this date. The icon and title is not in the row wise because here we have the typo. So I will remove this R. Yeah, now it is looking good. So after this view, now we want the delete icon. So after this view, I will take one pressable and I will use the material icons to show the date. Let's copy this, paste it here, copy this and replace this with this one. And then we need to pass the name. I will say delete outline. I will pass the size and the text gray color. So here we have this delete icon. If you are wondering like how I am using all of these icons, so what you can do, simply go to Chrome and search Expo vector icons and visit here, and you can use all of these icons in your project. Simply click any of the icon and import it and then simply use it. In our home screen we forget one thing, we need to add the plus button here. So after this line I will take one more pressable. I will use the ant design. For this icon, let's go here again, copy this, paste it here. Just replace this material icon with the ant design. Let's give the name. For this I will use plus icon, size will be 30 and color will be white. Then inside this pressable I will say absolute. From bottom it will be 4, which is 16 pixel. From right it will be 5 and the background color will be this one, padding 5, rounded to 3xl, and I will give some shadow. Yeah, now here we have this button. If any user clicks here, we will redirect the user to the ad screen. So I think we have completed our home screen. We have search, category and some sample nodes, but any of the thing will not work. Search, category, note, delete, any feature will not work because first we have created the UI. Before we move forward with the ad screen, what I will do, I will install one package which is JustStand. So for state management we are going to use JustStand and we'll have all the actions in the JustStand. So let's first create our store. I will close all of these files and inside this source I will create one new folder, store. Inside the store I will create one hook, use nodes.ts, and I will also create one type file for our nodes. First let's create the type for our node store. So I will say nodes store, and in our store we will have array of nodes. So each nodes will have title, description, date, category and is completed. Then after nodes we will have this function add node, which will be responsible for adding the node in the store. Sorry, not in the store, in the nodes array. Then we will also create one delete node function. So what it will do, it will take the ID and it will delete the nodes from the nodes array. Then I will take mark as completed or mark completed. Again this function will take ID and it will mark any node as the completed. Actually not any, but the provided node, which we will fetch from the ID. So let's export this nodes store. Now let's go to use nodes and here we will import the JustStand to create our store. So why we are using JustStand? Because JustStand is a state management library which is a simple and easy to use, and of course it is easy to learn as well. You will have all your data in the central place and any components or any file will have access to it. without wrapping your main or layout folder inside the provider. You can directly call this hook and you can access any states or actions. You will get better understanding when I do this. So I will create one const use nodes store, and we have this create which will come from just, and import this from just, and then in this create I will pass the type. It has setter and getter. So I've created one hook use node store, and you can see we are getting this error because I have set in the store type. As soon as I remove this, the error is gone, but we are using TypeScript, so I will pass this node store type which will bind this hook to create all of this state and actions. So as soon as we complete all of this state and actions, this error will be gone. So first I will create this state, and initially the nodes will be empty. Then we have to create this add node which will take this node and it will save the node in the nodes. Then we'll have the delete node which will take id to delete that node and mark completed. Again it will take id, and this is a arrow function. Let's export default this use nodes store. Now you can see all the error is gone because we have created all the actions and state. So now let's go to add node, and what will happen when this method is called. So what we will do, we will say set, which is coming from here. Using set we'll have the all the access to all the states, and we will say nodes. Nodes is an array, so I will say spread out all the nodes and append this node at the end. So this is how it works. When you call the add node and you will pass the node data, so what we will do, using setter we will set that node inside the nodes array. And remember, we will use these nodes to loop through and render each node card. Delete node again will follow the same structure. We will get the state nodes. We are setting the nodes, so I will say state dot nodes dot filter will receive each node here, and we will filter the node with id. Here what will happen, when delete node is called with the id, will loop through these nodes, and as soon as we detect the id which matches with this id, we will not include that node in the nodes. So only the id which is not equals to this id will be there. So I hope you have understood this delete node. Then here again we'll use this state. So this is the syntax to do this. Then I will say nodes state dot nodes dot map will receive the node here, and I will check if the node dot id matches with this id, then I will return one object by spreading the node. I will say is completed as true, else I will return this node. Here what will happen, when you call this mark completed function by passing the node id, will map through the nodes, and we will check if this node matches with the provided id or the given id. We will spread all the node data here and will modify is completed to true, else we will return the node as it is, will not modify is completed property. Now we are done with our store. Now the only thing is remaining is to use all of these actions and state. I will close this hook file and let's go to index.ts. So I will search here, close this explorer, and instead of passing this hard coded data, now we are going to pass the store nodes. I will say const nodes, which will come from use nodes store, and I will remove this. Let's pass nodes here. Now all the nodes is gone because the nodes array initially is empty. First I will go to node card component, and here I am going to use delete node and mark completed from use nodes store. I will use this two function here. On press I will call mark completed and I will pass the id, and for delete we have this icon. So here on press I will call delete node and I will pass the id. When user clicks this delete icon, we'll call this delete node and we will pass the id from the node which is coming from this props. I will close this file. Now we are going to make some changes in this home screen file. First I will create one add screen here. Let's use the shortcut to create the component add, and here I will create one router equals to use router, which will come from expo router. Sorry, my bad, not use route, it is use router. Yeah, and then after we click this pressable on press, we'll push the user to add screen. So as soon as user press this button, we will push the user to the add screen. Let's see. Yeah, we will get to the add screen and we can come back like this. Then if you remember, whenever we click this category 2 times, it deselect this and all the nodes are visible. To do this, I will comment this and we will say set selected category. We'll get the previous selected category and we will compare if the previous selected category matches with this category, we will set this as empty, else we will set the category. We'll remove this. So what it will do, it will check if the previous category matches with this selected category, which is the current selected category, then it means user clicked the selected category again. So we will make this as empty string, else the selected category means the clicked category. Check it out, if I click this again, it deselect the category. After this, here I will create one const filtered nodes to filter the nodes by search and by category, and I will use the React use memo hook for optimization purpose, and here I will say let result equals to nodes, and I will check if the selected category exists, then result equals to result dot filter, and I will filter the node by the category and I will pass here the selected category. What will happen if the selected category is not undefined, then we will filter the nodes by the category. Then I will say if search text dot trim will remove the white spaces. If user have searched something, then I will say result equals to result dot filter, and we will filter the node by title dot to lowercase dot includes search text dot to lowercase, and simply we will return the result. Suppose if user searched something, let's say round, so what we will do, we will remove the white spaces, and if search text is not empty, we will filter the result by the title. We'll check if this node exists, if this node title have or includes the search text, we will return that nodes in the result, and finally we will return this result. Now we can use these filtered nodes here instead of passing these nodes. After this scroll view, if you remember, if nodes is empty, we have to display the message. Here I will check if the filtered nodes length is 0, then for now let's set it as null, else we will display this flat list. So instead of null, I will take one view. Inside this view, I will take one text and I will say no notes yet. And if I save this file, you can see here we are seeing this no notes yet because the notes array is empty. And we will also show the description. We'll say tab plus to capture your first thought. Let's give some CSS to this view. I will pass the width as full, items center, margin top 16 and justify center. Let's pass some class to this text as well. We'll set the color to gray 400, font medium and text size to 2XL. Let's give some class to this text as well. Text gray 500, text size LG and some margin top. Yeah, I think now it is looking good, and we are informing the user that you have not added any notes. Tap this plus button to capture your first thought. So our home screen is now ready. Now we have to build this ad screen. I will remove this view and again we'll use the safe area view, and remember to import it from the components folder instead of this React Native safe area context. As you know, first we'll give flex1 padding and background color to alabaster. Then inside this safe area view, I will take the pressable. Currently I am building the back button, so I will say on press we need to send the user to the back screen. Let's import this use router which is coming from Expo router, and you can use this for navigation purpose. So we will say router dot back. Then inside this pressable we'll use this font awesome 6. Let's give the name as chevron left, size 24 and color black. Let's go to index file, or I think note card component, copy this, paste it here and replace this with this icon. The font awesome icon is not visible because we need to remove this. Just use the expo vector icon. Here we have the typo. Instead of class name we need to pass the name. Now you can see we have this custom back icon. If I click here, it redirects me to the home screen. If I click plus and again if I click here, it pushes me to the home screen. After this pressable, we need one text input. From here user will type the title. Let's define the placeholder as note title. Value, for value let's create one title, set title, use state. Let's define the title value here, and on change text will pass this set title. Here also we will set the placeholder text color to this one. We'll use this Xcode 380A35E. I'll set the text size as 4XL, font semi bold and some margin top. Yeah, I think it is looking good. Now we can type here note title. Now let's add the description as well. So after this text input, I will copy this text input and I will paste it here. Let's define the description state as well. Set description, use state. Let's pass the description here and this set description here. I will change the placeholder to start typing your thoughts. Margin top will be 6 and text size will be 2XL, and I will also change the placeholder color. Now we have this description, we can type our thoughts here. After this text input, I will take one view. Inside this view again I will take one text input for the date. First let's add some class to this view. I will make this as relative and margin top will be 64, which is 16 rem. Then I will say the placeholder date value, again the value will be date. On change text, we'll pass the setter. We'll create this state soon. We'll say text align vertical, and I will pass it as center. Let's pass the class name. I will give some border radius 3xl, height will be 14. I will pass the padding left as 11, text size 2xl, background white and some shadow. Then I will pass the placeholder text color to this one. Let's copy this color and I will use this color here as well. And let's define this date state, date set date, use state, and this will be empty string. Here we have the typo, it is set date not data. And if you check it out, now we can type date here. Now for date we want the calendar icon here. So again we will use the expo icons. So I will use this feather icon, FE, coming from vector icons. Pass the name as calendar, size as 16 pixel, and also we can change the icon text color to this color, and I will set the size as absolute. From top I will give 1.4 rem, from left I will give 4. Yeah, you can see we have this little calendar icon here which is looking good. After this we want the category so that user can select the category. After this view I will take one more view, and first let's give the background color as white, some shadow, my bad, yeah, margin top 8, rounded XL, and some padding. Here I will take one text saying category. Let's import this text. Let's define some classes here. I'll change the text color and I will make it as semi bold. After this text we need scroll view, and inside this scroll view first I will set the scroll as horizontal, and I will hide the horizontal indicator by setting it to false. And inside the scroll view again I will take one more view. Let's pass some classes, flex row, some gap, margin top, and flex wrap. Here already we have the category defined in the constants, and I will map through this category. I'll receive each category here. For each category I will return the pressable, and here let's use the text to show the category. Yeah, here we have this category, and now you are using the map, so you need to define the ID. So for ID I will reuse this category because every category is unique. Now let's do some styling work. So here what I will do, for each selected category we will add the class conditionally. It goes for the background color and text color. So I will define one const here, bg class, and I will say if the selected category, let's define the selected category just how we did with the home screen. Selected category, set selected category. Initially it will be empty string, and we will check if the selected category matches with this map category, then I will give different background color, else empty. So I will use this background color, governor bay, and for text class we'll define another const. Again we'll check the same thing with the category, and we will use the text white color, else we'll use the gray 600 color. To this pressable I will add the class. I'll take this curly braces, and here by default we'll give this class rounded full, x-axis padding, y-axis padding, and then we can use this dollar symbol to give this class. If I have not selected the category, the background color is transparent because we have defined the empty here. Now let's do this same thing for text class as well. Again I will take this curly braces. Initially the text color will be gray 600 and I'll add this conditional class here. Now you can see our category scrolls horizontally, and if I click, nothing happens. Let's check it out why the background color is not changing. Yeah, we have not added on press. Right on press, and I will say set selected category to category. Now check it out. If I click here, then the background color of the selected category is changing. Now just we need to add one add button. After this view, I will take one more pressable, and let's take one text, and I will say add note. Here we have this add note. First I will give the background color to this color. Width will be full. I'll define the hard coded height, rounded 2XL, margin top. Then I will make this button as flex, item center and justify center. Then in the text, I will make the text color as white, text XL and font weight to medium. And I'll add on press here, and we will call handle add note. Let's quickly create this method here, handle add note. This function will be responsible for adding the note in the notes array. After this router, as you know, we already have this use notes store, and we can use this add note function. Here we just need to call our add note function. So I will call add note, and it expects a iNote object. So first need to pass the ID. I'll come back to ID later. First let's pass title, description, category, which will be a selected category, date, and initially the note is completed will be false. Now what about the ID? For ID we are going to use a package which calls Expo Crypto. So I will install this package Expo Crypto. We will call the ID method from this package, which will give us unique ID every time. First let's import this. So I will say import star as crypto from Expo Crypto, and I will call this crypto here dot random UUID. So what it does, every time we call this random UUID, and it gives us the unique ID. You can check it out here. The random UUID method returns a unique identifier based on the v4 specification. It uses cryptographically secure random values to generate the UUID. So we can securely use this ID here, which will be a unique. Don't worry about the error for now. After the add note, I will say alert from React Native. So we will alert the user, and we will let the user know that your note is added successfully by saying notes added successfully. And I will take one array here, which will be a button, and the button text will be done, style will be cancel, and on press, if user presses the done button, will route the user to the home screen where user can check it out their notes. To fix this module error, what we need to do, I will kill this terminal, I will delete this iOS module, and we need to run the app again. Whenever you face any annoying error like this, just remove this iOS and run the iOS again. I will say npm run iOS, and it will take few minutes to create the directory or to create the build. So let's wait for some time. The iOS build is created successfully. Now the app is running on iPhone 17 and you can see the error is gone. Now let's test our app. Let's add our first note. So I will say buy groceries and I will add here milk and bread. Let's add the today date and I will set the category as work and I will say add note. And you can see we got this alert success, notes added successfully, and if I click done it should redirect me to the home screen where I can see the note. The note is not visible here. Let's check it out why it is not visible here, because what is happening here is here on the filtered notes we forget to add the dependency. We need to add this notes selected category and search tag dependency here. Now you can see the note is visible here. Now I will delete this note and let's try to add one more note. I will say buy groceries, milk and bread, work, and I will set the date as today date, add note, success, notes added successfully, and if I click done button, now you can see the notes here, because here in the filtered notes we are using these notes from the store but we have not added the dependency, so it never gets called and the filtered notes is always empty. Let's try to add one more note. I will say prepare for interviews, solve frontendlab.io problems. Let's add the category as work. Again I will add the date as 25 and let's click add note, success, click done, and you can see our note prepare for interviews, solve frontendlab.io problems. It means our add note functionality is working correct, and let's check it out if mark as completed is working or not. If I click here, you can see we have this checkbox. It means this note is completed. Now let's try to delete it. So before testing the delete functionality, let's filter it by category. Yeah, both nodes comes under the work category, but if I click ideas, then the nodes array becomes empty because other than work no nodes exist with this category. Now let's search. So I will search interviews. So yes, search is working as absolutely fine. Now let's add one more nodes. I will add anything here and I will push these nodes in the ideas category to test this category flag. So I will select ideas. So you can see now we have the node under the idea category, and if I click it again, so it shows me all the available nodes. Now let's test the delete functionality. So I will delete this node. Yeah, the nodes is deleted from our nodes list. So everything is working as expected. Search, category, delete functionality, mark as completed, and the add node. So I hope you enjoyed building your first mobile app which works on both iOS and Android, and hope you have learned so many new things while building this app. In this lecture we are going to create our next app. We are going to create this nice looking e-commerce app called Lugs. As soon as user lands on the home screen, first we greets the user with nice looking hero image. Then if you scroll below, we have the categories which is coming from the API. We have audio, computers, phones, and so on. Then we show all the featured products using flat list. For each product, user can add the product in their cart. Let's say I will add this headphone and this MacBook in my cart. Then in the nav bar, we have created this custom nav bar with the logo and this cart image. If you click on this cart image, it redirects to the order summary page. Here you can check all the items you have added in the cart with the price, delivery, taxes, and the total amount you have to pay. Then we have this proceed to checkout button. If you want, you can also remove the products from the cart. Let's say I will remove all of these 2 products. Then it says cart is empty and go to home. You can go to home using this button, and using this back button as well. So I will click this go to home and we lands on the home screen. Filter the products using categories. Like I have filtered here with the accessories, let's say monitors, wearables, phones, computers, and so on. So in this lecture we are going to build this app. So let's get started. To get started, again we will go to the Expo documentation and copy this command. Let's go to VS Code, open new terminal, and I will run this command here. And already I have created this folder lugs, and in this folder I am going to initialize my React Native project. Click enter. Again we'll use the latest SDK of the Expo. It will create the template project for us. Then we will reset the project and we'll build this app from scratch. The template project is created. Now before we reset the project, I am going to install one package, npm install expo linear gradient. Initially I am installing this package so that when we build our iOS build, this package code will be included in that, so that we will not rerun the build. Let's install this package expo linear gradient. Make sure to install it here. Then first I will reset the project, npm run reset project, no, and let's create the iOS build. So if you go to package.json, so you already know how to create the iOS build. I will say npx expo run iOS, and it will create the iOS build for us. Let's wait for some time until this build is finished. After this, we'll install native wind. Our iOS build is created successfully. Now our app is running on iPhone 17 simulator. The next package we are going to install is the native wind. So let's go to the native wind documentation, and again we have to follow all of these steps to install native wind. Let's start with the first step by installing native wind and its peer dependencies. Copy this command, open new terminal, and run this command here. Let's check the next step. After we have installed native wind, we need to install tailwind CSS. So copy this command and run this command here again. And after this, we need to create this file. So I will copy this file name, and in the file explorer I will create this file, and let's copy the code and paste here. Let's check the next step. Let's create this global.css file here and copy all of these directives or import statement and put it here. Then we need to create this metro file. I will copy this file name, create the file, copy this code and put it here. After this, we need to import global.css. So I will go to layout, and here let's import global.css. Make sure to import like this. Then I will copy this overrides, open package.json and put it here. After this, we need to set up the TypeScript file. So I will copy this file name, create the file, copy this code and put it here. Now just run npm install. Yeah, now let's test our native wind. So I will close all of these files and go to index.ts. I'll remove this style and I will add class name here as bgred. The background color is not applying here. Let's try to give text color, text red 500. Yeah, so you can see the tailwind CSS is not applying. So what I will do, I will kill this terminal and let's run the application again. npm run iOS. Let's run the application again, and if you check the package, after you execute the command npx expo run iOS, it replaces the previous command with this one. So every time you don't have to run that command, simply run npm run iOS and it will do the work. So let's wait for some time until it installed all the Cocoa pods and build. Now you can see the Tailwind CSS is applied. So what I will do, I will remove this text color because both background and text color are red. And yeah, now the text is visible. If your Tailwind CSS is not applying, try to rerun the app again. If it still does not apply, what you can do, delete this iOS folder and run the command again. Now I will close this terminal and let's start with our home screen. So as you know, for every screen we use safe area view. Previously we created the safe area component. So again I will create one components folder inside source and I will create a new component safe area view. Export default styled safe area view. Let's import this styled from native wind. Now we'll use this safe area view component instead of using it as directly, and you know the reason. Now let's go here and again I will remove all of this code. Let's use the shortcuts to create the template component and I will name it as home screen. I will remove this and I will import safe area view from components, and inside safe area view for now I will take this view and I will take this text and our app name is lugs. Now I will give some class to this safe area view. First I will make the flex 1, then I will give the background color as fantasy. And if you check it out, global CSS, already I have defined all of this color which we are going to use in our app. You can find this global.css file in the description below. Then let's go to layout.tsx and we'll use this screen options and hide the header. So I will say header shown to false. Close this file and I will add some CSS to this view. I'll give some padding, background will be white, shadow, justify between and flex row, and I'll make the items in center. Then I'll give some class to this text. Just I will increase the font size to 3XL. Then I will use pressable. Inside this pressable I'll use the font awesome icon, font awesome 6. Let's give the name as cart shopping, size 24 and the color will be black. Let's import this font awesome. Import font awesome from Expo vector icons. So we have not installed this package, so let's install. I will say npm install vector icons. We are going to use the vector icons in our app. Yeah, you can see already we have the cart icon here. I will close this terminal and if you press here, will redirect the user to the cart screen. So let's quickly create the cart page or screen. Let's initialize the component as cart screen. To redirect the user to the cart screen, we need router. So I will say const router equals to use router from expo router, and here I will say router dot push and I will push the user to the cart page. If you click on the cart icon, it redirects us to the cart page. So let's go to cart and I'll put this view in the safe area view. Now you can see the cart screen text is visible. Then I'll close this cart screen. Now we have to create the greeting message, the hero image, then categories and list of products. And as you already know, all of these are scrollable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use flat list, and inside the flat list we are going to use all of these features or props to render the header, footer, items and all of that stuff. So after this view I will call flat list, and first we need to pass the data. So I will pass the data as products. This products is coming from this constants file. Already in the source I have this utils, and inside the utils I have this constants file, and here I have taken some products. You can find this file in the description below and just drag and drop this file in your code. Then we need to pass the key extractor item dot id dot toString. Then you can also define the number of columns in your list. So I will define the num columns as 2. So we will have 2 number of columns. Don't worry about the error for now. Let's focus on this flat list. Then I will hide the vertical scroll indicator by setting it to false. And you can also give the column wrapper style. As you know, we can also give the content container style. So just I will define the padding 16 pixel, some gap, and I will add the padding bottom as 32 pixel. Now in the flat list, what you can do, you can give the list header component. So what will be displayed in the header? In the header we are going to take this React fragment, and I will take one text and let's say hello, welcome back. So you can see in the header now we have this hello welcome back text. Let's give some CSS. Text color will be code gray, text size will be 32 pixel, font semi bold. Now it is looking good. After this text I will take one more text for the description, and I'll say discover curated excellence for your lifestyle. Let's add some CSS. I will give the text color as scorpion, text size base, and padding y-axis will be 1, which is 4 pixel. So here we have this description. Then after this text I will take one view. In this view I am going to use the image from React Native, and we need to provide the source as you know, and in the URI I am going to use the products of 3 dot image. And then let's define width and height. So I will set the width as 100% and height as 200 pixel. So here we have this image. I am using the product's third item image. After this image I will take one view to show the image title and price, and this view will be absolute because we need to render this text above the image. So I will make it absolute. From top let's give 36, from left it will be 5, flex, gap 1 and z index to 10. And inside this view I will take one text, and here we need to display the products item of 3 dot name. So you can see here we have this product name, or we can call it title, and let's display the price as well. So the price will be in dollar. I will say products of 3 dot price. Now this watch price is $449.99. And now let's give some CSS to this name. I'll give the text as 3XL, font semi bold, and text color will be white. Let's give the CSS to this price as well. I'll say font medium, text color will be white, and text size will be XL, which is 20 pixel. Now if you check it out, the title and price is not properly visible. It will be visible when we'll use the linear gradient. Now I'll give some CSS to this view as well. I will make the rounded as 2XL, overflow hidden, and margin top will be 4. Now this image have border radius and some margin top. Here I have this linear gradient code. So this linear gradient is coming from the Expo linear gradient package which we have installed earlier. In this linear gradient you can pass the colors. So I have passed the colors as transparent and this RGBA opacity color. Then you can pass the start and end position of the linear gradient, and I have given some style. I have just made this position as absolute. From bottom left right it will be 0, and I have set the height to 220 pixel. And if you check it out now, so our hero image is looking awesome. After this hero image we need to show the category and products. So before rendering the category, I am going to create some states for category and products. First I will create this product state, set products, and the initial value will be this products. Then I will create this state for categories, set categories, use state, and initially it will be empty, and the type of this category will be array of string. Then we'll have this selected category state, set selected category, and initially it will be an empty string. Or what you can do, you can define the type here as well. Yeah, and let's create this handler for handling the category. So what we'll do in this handle category, if you check it out the products, the category can be duplicate as well. Let's say if I search audio, the audio category exists for 2 products. So to render the category, we are not going to render duplicate categories, we need to render unique categories. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one category set, categories set, and we'll create one set of type string. Then I will say products dot for each. I loop through the product and I will push the categories inside this set dot category. As you know, set does not contain duplicates. So when same category exists and we'll try to push it, it will not contain the duplicate. So we will get all the unique categories. After we got the unique categories, I will say const all category array dot from, and I'll pass this set category set. So what I'm doing here, I'm converting this set into array so that we can set the categories here, and I will set the all category. Then inside use effect I will call this handle category. Yeah, so as soon as our app loads, we'll have all the categories. Then let's handle the category press as well. Handle category press. So as soon as user press any of the category, we'll get the category here in the parameter, and we'll set this category to the selected category, and we'll filter the products. So I will say filtered products equals to products dot filter, and I will filter the product by category. Will only push the product which matches with the clicked category, and then we need to set this filtered products inside the products, filtered products. Yeah, then we'll call this handle category press here. So first let's initialize the category. After this view, again I will take the scroll view because the category will be scrollable horizontally, and here I will say horizontal, and we are going to hide the scroll indicator. Inside this scroll view I will take one view. Let's give some class first. Just I will make the flex row gap 4 and margin top to 4. Then we will loop through the categories dot map, and we'll get the category and index here, and I will return the pressable. Let's define the key as index, Inside this pressable, I will take one text to show the category. Now if you check it out, we have this audio, computers, phones, wearables, accessories and monitors category, and it is scrolling as well. Now let's do some work on the styling part. Rounded full, border, padding y will be 2 and margin top will be 4. And for text, I will just make the text as SM. Now if I click any of the category, it does not feels like if it is clicked. So what I will do, again will create some conditional class here. Const bg class equals to selected category is equals to this category. Then I will set the background black, else the background white, and the border color will be gray 300. Let's do the same thing for text class as well. So if the selected category matches with this category, then I will give the text color as white, else text color as black. Let's use this bg class here. I'll wrap this inside curly braces like this, and let's use the dollar symbol to dynamically add this class. I will do the same thing for this text class. Then we are missing one thing. We need to add the on press, and we'll call handle category press and pass the category. Now check it out. If I click, it changes its background color so that it's look like something is clicked, which gives the nice user experience. Now we have to render the products. After this scroll view, I will take one text and will say featured products, and let's give some class name, font medium, and text will be 2XL, margin top 8 and bottom will be 4. So here we have this featured products text. After this text, we are completed with our header item or header component. So we have the header component. Now we need to render the item. So what I will do, after this props, I will take render item, and here I will destructure the item and will render one view. Inside the view, let's take one text and I will say item dot name. So here we have the name of all the products, but we are not going to show like this. We'll create one component. In the components folder, I will create one component, product card.tsx. Let's create the product card component. Let's use the shortcut. In the prop, we'll receive the product. Let's define the type as iProduct. So this type is coming from this types file. So already we have the types folder, and inside this types I have this app types. So you can get this types file in the description below. So make sure to download the resources and drag and drop the types in your source folder. I'll close this file. Then I'll remove this code and I will use pressable. Let's give some class first. I'll make the rounded as XL, BG white, overflow hidden. Then for each product, first we have to show the image. So I will say source, and in the URI I'll use the image, and we need to define the width and height as well. So I will say width as 100% and height, let's give it as 200 pixel, and let's call this product card here. I will remove this text product card and pass the product as item. Then I will give the style to this view as flex1. Now you can see all the products is visible here, but currently it is showing the image. We have to show the title, price, everything. Let's go to this component. After this image, I will take one view. Let's import this view. First I will give some class. Just I will give padding and some gap. Inside this view, first we will show the product name, product dot name. I forgot to import this. Yeah, and we will show the product dot price. Let's give some class. I'll increase the font size and font weight, and for price same thing goes with the price as well. Yeah, and we'll add the dollar symbol here. After this text, I will take the pressable. Inside this pressable, I will use this text. I'll add to cart text. Let's give some class to this pressable. I'll give the border color as gray 300, rounded XL, y-axis padding will be 2, some margin top and shadow. Let's define some class to this add to cart. I'll make it to center, text size will be XL and font weight to medium. Yeah, now it is looking good. So you can see our product card is ready with the image, title, price and add to cart button. So until now we have created our home screen. Now if you click any of the categories, the filter is not working because here we have passed the hard-coded products data inside the flat list. Instead of these products, we need to pass these products which is coming from the use state. Now if I click on audio, we only see the audio products. Same goes with computers, phones and so on. The next screen we are going to build is the cart screen. I will close this index.tsx file and product card as well, and let's go to cart screen and let's add some class to this safe area view. I will add this background color and flex 1. Then I will add some class to this view as well. Padding 4, background white, shadow access, gap, flex direction will be row and items to center. I'll remove this text and instead of this I will take one pressable. Inside this pressable, let's import the router. Const router equals to use router from expo router, and on press will take the user to the back, router dot back. Then we are going to use the font awesome icon here. So let's go to index and I will copy the import statement from here. I'll copy this, put it here. Let's use this. We need to pass the name. I'll pass chevron left, size will be 24 and color will be black. And now if I click this button, we'll go to the back screen. After this pressable, I will take one text and I will write our app name here and let's give some class. I will increase the font size. Yeah, now it is looking good. For state management, we are going to use JustAnd as we have used in our previous app. So let's install JustAnd and we'll set up our store. Just run this command to install JustAnd, and then inside source I will create another folder, store. First I will create the type file commerce store, or let's say lugs store types .d.ts, and I will create one hook, use lugs store.ts. Let's go to the types file. I'll create the store type here, lugs store. First we'll have the cart of type product, then we can add the product to the cart. So I'll create this action. It will take the product of type product and it returns void, means it returns nothing. And we can also remove the product from the cart. So I will create this action, remove from cart. It will take the ID and it returns nothing. Let's export this store. Yeah, let's go to the hook file and I'll say export const use lugs store equals to, I'll use this create. Let's import from just and create from just and I'll add the store type here. We'll have the setter and getter, and inside this store first I will add the cart as empty array. Initially the cart will empty. Let's add these two actions, add to cart and remove from cart. In add to cart we'll receive the product to add in the cart. So I will say set state and the cart value will be state dot cart, and I'll push the product at end of the array. To remove the product from the cart we will receive the ID here. Let's use this ID to filter the cart. So again I will say set and the cart value will be state.cart.filter, and will compare the item ID to not equals to this ID. So this is our lugs store. Then let's import the store here, const cart, and I will import remove from cart as well. Remove from cart, use lugs store. And if you remember, if the cart is empty, cart dot length is 0, then we will show one view, else null. For now let it be null, and inside this view I will add one text and I will say cart is empty. Let's add some CSS to this view. Class name, flex, item center, justify center, and padding to 4. Then I'll add some class to this text. I'll increase the font size and font weight. After this text we will provide one button to user to go to the home screen, and I will add one text here, go to home. Let's give some CSS to this pressable. First I will give the border gray 300, some y-axis and x-axis padding, rounded XL, margin top 6, and some shadow. And on press simply we will say router dot back. Let's give some CSS to this text as well. I will make it to center and text size will be XL. Yeah, now you can see our cart is empty, so we are displaying this value, cart is empty, and go to home. It is working as expected. Then instead of null we'll take one scroll view, as we need to show all the products which are added in the cart. Inside this scroll view I will take one view and one text, will say order summary. I will add some padding here. Then I'll add some class to this text. I'll change the text color, text size, and font will be semi bold. Also let's go to index.tsx, and here, not index.tsx, let's go to product card, and here we will use the add to cart from lugs store. Let's import add to cart, and I will call this add to cart on press, and I'll call add to cart and I'll pass the product. Now let's check it out. So I'll go to home, add to cart, and let's see if this headphone is added in the cart. Yeah, it is added in the cart, but it is not displayed because we are not showing the product yet. If the cart length is 0, then we are showing cart is empty, else currently we are showing the order summary. Let's look through the cart to show all the cart products. Also I will add one more text here. I'll say review your selections before payment. I'll add some CSS to this text as well. we'll change the text color to scorpion, text base, and y-axis padding. So here we have this description. After this view, I will take one more view and I'll map through the cart. Will receive the item and index, and I will return one view. First let's give the key as index, and inside this view also let's add some class. I'll make the background color as white, padding 4, rounded XL, flex row, and justify between. Then inside this view I'm going to take one more view. Let's add some CSS. I'll say rounded XL and overflow to hidden, and inside this view we'll use the image from React Native. Let's pass the source as URI item.image, and we need to set the width and height. So I will set width as 100 and height as 100 pixel. Yeah, now we have this cart image. Let's add some CSS to this view. I will give some margin top and gap 4. We'll have some margin top here. Then after this view I will take one more view. Inside this view I will take one text, and here we will show the item name. Here we have this item name. I will give some gap, margin left. Let's increase the font size. So I will say text XL, sorry my bad, text XL, font medium. Let's show the item category and item price. Item dot price, we'll use the dollar symbol here. Yeah, now we have the category and price. Then what I'm going to do for item dot name, I will add some condition. I will check if item dot name dot length is greater than equals to 18 character, then we are going to display item dot name dot slice display 0 to 18 characters plus these 3 dots, else show full item name. Because after the price we also want to show the remove from cart button. If the item name length is greater than 18 character, we will only display 0 to 18 and after these 3 dots, else we will show the full item name. Let's add some CSS for category as well. I'll just change the color, and for price I'll increase the font size and font weight. After this view I will take one pressable. Let's give some class name. Only I will give margin left to 4, and here I will say on press let's call remove from cart and pass the ID. I am going to use this image. So you can see I am using this flat icon image, and if user clicks on this button we will remove the product from the cart and will display cart is empty. Now let's add some product. Let's add this and this one. Yeah, now we have 2 products, so our cart screen is looking good. Now let's add the pricing section. After this view we will show all the data related to pricing. So let's take one view. I'll add some class first. I'll give some margin top, background color will be soft peach, border radius, and overflow will be hidden. Overflow hidden. Inside this view I will take one more view, and inside this view I'll take one text to show the subtotal, and here we will show the cart dot length and items. Let's add some CSS to this view. Flex row, justify between, and items will be center. I'll add some text here as well, not text, class. I'll just increase the font size to XL, and text color will be gray 500. And what I will do, I will add this round bracket here to show like this. Then after this subtotal, we need to show the total cart amount price. So I will take one text here. Let's display some dummy data and I'll make the font as LG. Let's create the utility for calculating the pricing. Here I will create one file. In the utils I will create app.helper.ts, and here I am going to create two methods, get subtotal amount and get total amount. Get subtotal amount will equals to all this product pricing. Total amount will include taxes. So I will say export const get subtotal amount will receive the product of type product. This will be an array of products. Let's initialize the amount as 0 first. We'll say products. These will be products dot for each, and we need to just add the price. So I will say amount plus equals to product dot price and simply return the amount. Then I will say export const get total amount will receive all the products of type I product, and I will say let total equals to, I will simply call this subtotal amount and I will pass the products. So we will get the total amount, we will get the total. Then in the total, for now let's add the $12 and $34.5 and return the total. Now let's use this two utility for calculating the pricing in the cart. I'll call here dollar. I will say get sub total amount, and I will pass the cart and we will show the two decimal places. Yeah, now you can see if you add $12.99 and $2.99, it becomes $1599.98. Now let's add the code for delivery and taxes. I will take one view here and I will make this view as flex row, justify between and items to center. Then inside this view we'll take one text, shoot the delivery, and let's add the text Excel class. Text color will be 500 and the delivery will cost $12 as we have added $12 in our total amount. And I'll make the text size as LG. Then after this view, let's take one more view for taxes. Let's add some class to this view, flex row, justify between items in center, and I will copy this two text, put it here and rename these two taxes, and we have added $34.50 taxes. And after this view I will take one more view to show the divider. So I will create divider here. Background color will be gray 300, height will be 0.5 pixel, width full, and some margin top. Here we have this divider. After this view I will take one more view. Again I will add the same class as flex row, justify between, item center, and I will add some margin top. Inside this view I will take the text to show the total amount, and we will call get total amount. Again we will pass the cart and to fix to two decimal places. So here we have this total amount. Let's add some CSS to this total. I'll increase the size and weight. Let's add some CSS here as well. Again I will increase the size and weight. Yeah, I think it is looking good. We have $1646.48 in total. Now we will create one pressable here, proceed to checkout. After this view I will take one pressable and I will take one text to show proceed. Let's write it in capital. proceed to checkout. Let's add some CSS. So I've created this proceed to checkout button. We have this pressable and I have added this class. Just I have given the background color, items will be in center, flex direction in row, some gap, justify center. I have given some margin top, so we will have some space here, border radius and some padding. And we have this text proceed to checkout, and we have using this expo vector icons to show this icon. So if you check it out, we have created our cart page. In this cart page, we can see all the order summary. We can check what all the products we are added in the cart, prices, and proceed to checkout. And we can also remove the cart items from this button. So what I will do, I'll add some more products and let's check it out. Yeah, you can see we can also scroll here to see all the products and the total amount. So we have successfully created our Lugs e-commerce app, which is looking beautiful. I hope you have learned so many new things while building this app, and I hope it helps you learn React Native in more depth. If you are finding these projects useful, so make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it motivates me to keep creating quality content. And I'll meet you in the next lecture where we are going to build our final app, the movie app. So I'll see you in the next lecture. In this lecture, we are going to build this movie app called Movie Hub. In the home screen, first we have this nice looking movie image with the movie description. Then if you scroll below, then we have this discover movie, and all of this discover movie is coming from the API. Then we have the next movie category, which is trending now. Here we are using the trending now API to fetch all the trending now movies. And then we have the top rated movie, which is also coming from the top rated API. We are going to call parallel API to fetch all of these movies. I already have created this movie hub directory and I have initialized the Expo project. You can do the same thing by just copying this Expo command to initialize the project, which we have done previously. After this, also I have set up the native wind as well, as we have followed this documentation to set up the native wind. So please follow this documentation and install native wind in your app. So this is your task before you start building this app. I hope you have initialized the Expo project and you have set up the native wind. If you have get stuck in any of the step, you can always comment below and I am happy to help you. Also, if you are getting some unexpected error, try to delete the node modules and run npm install. And if the error is still not solved, try to delete this iOS build as well and run the npx command to build the iOS build again. And I hope you will able to resolve it. Now I will close this file explorer and I will go to home screen. So here I have this safe area view, as I have created this components folder and I am going to use this safe area view as we have used in our previous apps. I will close this component. To show the movies, trending movies and top rated movies, first what I am going to do, I will create the movies array which will hold the discover movies and it will be a use state. Initially the movie list will be empty and I will add the type here as iMovie. So the type is coming from this type file, app.types file. You can find this types file in the description below. So make sure to download this types file and drag and drop this file in your source code. I will close this file. After discover movies, then I will say trending movies, set trending movies, use state. Again initially it will be an empty array and we'll add the iMovie type. Same thing goes with the top rated movies. Set top rated movies, use state, and we'll add this type here as well. Now let's call the API to fetch all of these movies. I will create one function handle fetch movies. This will be a asynchronous function. I have written this method handle fetch movies. First, I have this URL for discover movie response. Then I have this trending movie and the top rated movie. Each URL is constructed like this. First, we have this discover URL movie which is coming from the constants file, and you can find this constants file in the resources below. So make sure to download this file. Here we have the discover URL, and this is the movie DB we are going to use to fetch these movies. And then we have the trending now URL, top rated, and the image endpoint which we are going to use to show each movie image. After the discover URL, I am adding this API key. To get this API key, simply go to developer.themoviedb.org. I'll provide this link in the description below, and simply click this get API key, create your account and generate your API key, and then put that API key here like this. Then we have some additional params. Then for trending now response, I have just changed the URL, and same thing for top rated. Then here I am converting the response into JSON for discover JSON, trending JSON and top rated JSON. And then in the setter for all the movies, I am setting the data in movies, trending movies and top rated movies. Then I have taken one use effect here which is coming from React, and I am calling our handle fetch movies. If you check the top rated movie, we are calling the API for top rated movie at the end. So what I am going to do, I will check if top rated movies length is 0, means the API have not returned any response, then I am going to show the activity indicator to the user to say that something is loading, so please wait for some time. I'll show this indicator with size large and color white. Then I'm going to remove all of this code, and instead of safe area view, I will return one scroll view. First, I will hide the vertical scroll indicator. Then inside the scroll view, I will take one view. Let's add class as flex1. Inside this view, I will take one image from React Native. Let's pass the source. For the source, I will say image endpoint, which is coming from the constants file, plus trending movies of 0 dot backdrop path. So if you check the trending movies, let's go to this iMovie. So each movie have ID, movie name, movie image which has the poster path and backdrop path, movie description which is called overview, and the title. This will be the array of API response for each movie. Let's go to this component. Then let's set the width and height. So I'll set width as 100% and height will be 500 pixel. You can see the result here. We have this nice looking movie image which is looking good. If you want, you can also use any other movie image as well. After this movie image, I'm going to show this linear gradient. So this is the linear gradient which we have used in our previous apps as well. So let's install this linear gradient package, npm install expo linear gradient. Let's wait for some time. Yeah, it is installed. Now I will save this file and let's refresh the page. Sorry, not page, the app. So the linear gradient is giving some error. So what I will do, I will stop the server and I will rerun the app again. Now you can see the error is solved. We have just run the app again and the error is itself solved. Close this terminal. Let's move forward. After this linear gradient, I have taken here one view to show the movie overview. So I've just given some class. The position is absolute. From bottom it has 8. From left we have given 5. From right 5. Then I'm using this text component. The text color is red. Text size XL, and from leading I have given the 6. And as we have done in our previous apps, again I am checking if the length is greater than 100 character, show only 90 character plus these 3 dots, else show all the characters. Then after this view I will take one safe area view, and let's add some class to this safe area view. BG woods smoke. This color is coming from the global CSS file. So here I have defined these theme directives and I have assigned this color. You can find this global.css file in the description below. So make sure to download and drag this file in your code. Also I will make the flex as 1 and some padding. Inside this safe area view I will take one view. Then I will take one text to show discover movie title. Let's add some CSS, not here but in the text. Text color will be white, text size 2XL, font weight to medium. We have here discover movie. Here you can see we have some empty spaces. To solve this, you can pass array of edges inside here, bottom, left, right, top. What it will do, if you pass edge as bottom, so what will happen, it will automatically get the safe area padding from the bottom. If you pass the top, then top safe area will be respected, and similarly left and right. After this text I will take one scroll view. Scroll will be horizontal. Let's hide the horizontal scroll indicator by setting it to false. Then inside the scroll view I will take one view. Let's add some class here, flex row, gap 4 and margin top to 6. Let's loop through the movies.map movie, and for each movie I will return one view. First let's add the key movie.id, and the style I will give the width as 160. Then inside the view I will take one more view. First I will define some style to this view. We'll give the border radius, overflow, width to 160, height to 240 pixel. Then inside this view I will take the image. Let's add the source URI will be, again we'll use the image endpoint plus movie.backdrop path, and for the style I will set width 160 pixel and height to 240 pixel. Now you can see we have the image for each movie. I think it is looking good, just like Netflix. Then I am going to add the linear gradient here to show the title in black. Here I have this linear gradient positioned to the bottom of the movie card, and then here I have this text which is showing the movie name, and I have added just some simple CSS. And I have also added this prop number of lines is 2, so that if the movie name is bigger than 2, it will not overflow to the movie card. After this we have rendered the discover movie. Now we have to render the top rated movies and trending movies. For top rated movies and trending movies, the UI is pretty much similar. So what I am going to do, I will copy this discover movie code and I will paste it 2 times, and we just have to replace these movies with trending movies and top rated movies. I'll suggest you are learning React Native for the first time, so I'll recommend you to not copy paste this code and write every line of code by yourself. I will copy this code from the view to here and I will paste it here. Then Here I will add some class margin top to 8, and then instead of discover movie we will say trending now, and replace these movies with trending movies. And as soon as I save the file, you can see all the trending movies here. If you want, also what you can do, you can create one separate component and you can pass these movies in the props. But for now I am just doing like this. We'll copy this movie again, paste it here, replace this title with top rated, here as well, top rated movies. And yeah, you are done with creating the top rated movie card as well. And remember, for the top rated movie, use original title instead of name. For the top rated movie API, the movie title is undefined, so make sure to use original title. And for trending now, use original title or movie.name. If original title is undefined, show movie.name. And you can see all the movies title is visible here. Top rated, trending now, discover movie, and this hero image movie. So we have successfully built this movie app from scratch, which is looking something like Netflix homepage. If you want, you can add more features here as well. You can give one button here to favorites the movie, and you can create one favorite screen where you will show all the favorites movie list. I hope you have learned React Native by building this complete 3 apps. We started with the fundamentals, built our skills step by step, and finally created these 3 complete apps together. I hope this course helped you learn and gain confidence in React Native. I hope you enjoyed this course and had fun building the 3 projects. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. This really motivates me to keep creating high quality content and projects.